everybody. Welcome back. I'm Ashley, and this is Martin Midlife Misadventures, and you know what today is. We're going to flour it up, and I'm doing something totally different. I'm going to do a pre-boxed bread mix. Now, this is something I've never done before, so I'm super excited to share the experience with you. I was gifted this mix, so I can't wait to try it out. Are you ready to flour it up? Let's do it. All right, friends, this is the bread that we are making for Flour It Up. Something totally different. I was gifted this Krusteaz Hawaiian Sweet bread. Now, I didn't know what it cost, so I looked them up. And at Walmart, you can get a 2-pack of this mix for $5.96, which means one box is $2.98. So already right off the bat, it's a $3 loaf of bread, okay? Now, the good news is when we turn to the back, the only thing we're adding to this is water, 1 1/4 cups water to mix with our yeast. Now on the front, it says ready in about an hour. Wait, where did that go? Right there, ready in about an hour. And they do have a quick recipe down here for an hour, but I don't think it's worth it. We're just going to do it the good old-fashioned way, the first steps, and we're going to mix it all together, and you let it sit for almost 2 hours, it says, or until doubled. So let's get this mixed up. I've got my warm water here. It says dump the warm water into your bowl and then add your yeast. It does not say to bloom this yeast. It just says to mix it all together. Here's the yeast packet they sent. We're going to just get that dumped in there. We'll give it a little stir. It's kind of weird. I'm used to blooming yeast, but we are going to follow these directions. Now it says to dump the entire bag of this in here, and we are going to mix it, and it says the dough will be very wet and sticky. So let's start mixing up this dough. Oh, it's coming together nicely. It is sticky, I can tell you that. But guess what? We don't have to touch it. We do not have to touch this. We're just going to bring it all together. I recommend using a rubber spatula for this. That's exactly what I should have used, because then we could scrape the down the sides really well. Okay, this looks good. It's all together. We'll give it a couple more stirs. You know, it's sticky, but I can tell by how it comes off of my wooden spoon here that, yeah, this dough looks really good. Okay, we are going to cover it, stick it in a warm place. It says up to 2 hours or until doubled. So I'm going to stick this over near our wood stove, cover it up, and I'll tell you how long that takes. All right, friends, I think our dough is ready. It looks extremely damp, but it has doubled in size. And I let it sit for about an hour and a half. The next step, it says to take 4 tablespoons of flour, sprinkle it around the edges and on top of this before we try to pull it out. 4 tablespoons is also 1/4 cup. So I have 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to sprinkle around the edges. They said it makes it easier to get it out. Now it says to gently lift it out and put it on your prepared pan. So I have it, well, let's see if I can do it like this. A little scraper here, and we're going to scrape down these sides, and that should push some of that flour down there. I think that's what they're talking about, because it is very sticky. And we are not going to really shape this much. We just want to get it out in one clump, get it on the pan. Whoops. Just like that. Okay. We'll take some of this extra flour. And now it says just to gently shape it. And it's supposed to make a nice big loaf. I'm not supposed to mess with it. Just round out the corners. You see? I think that looks pretty good. Now it says to let it rest uncovered. That's something I don't normally do. So I am going to leave it uncovered, but I'm going to stick it in my oven so no little particles get on it or anything. 40 minutes, we're going to let this rise again before we bake it off. All right, friends, our 40 minutes is up. Let me back up so you can see it. It's not a real tall rise. I feel like it spread more outward. The directions say to put some flour on top. And this is just the flour that was left there. I'm going to move it around. I don't want the flour to get burnt on it. Okay, the next step says to make 3 half-inch slits on the top of the bread. All right, I've got 3 slits on top. The directions say we are going to bake it at 400 degrees for 24 to 26 minutes. Now notice it says until crust is dark brown and firm to the touch. So my oven cooks hot. It may take less. It may take more. Let's get it in the oven. There we go. Into the oven. All right. I think our bread is done. Would you look at that? It said to let it get nice and golden brown. Let's pull it out and take a look. Oh. Would you look at that? It looks wonderful. It is kind of more on the flat side, but it definitely puffed up a lot more than I had anticipated. That's a big loaf, guys. So this is what a $3 loaf out of the box would end up to look like at home. It does look awfully good. We're going to let this cool. I'm probably going to let it cool for about 10 minutes, and then we'll take a slice and look at the inside. All right, friends, I think it's cool enough to where we could go ahead and cut some off. I want to show you the bottom of it, though. Actually, I want to see the bottom, too. It's still hot. The bottom looks fantastic. Wow. It did not stick to the parchment paper. So far, this is looking really, really good. I'm going to put my camera down and cut a small piece off. All right, friends, I've cut a piece. I cut the little end off, and we can look at this one. I always keep my end because I press it back against that to try to keep it from drying out, but look at this. I mean, look at that. This looks delicious. I couldn't say anything but. And here's the next piece. The second piece usually tells you if it's going to cut good or not. Look at that. Look at it. That's going to be my piece. I'm going to butter it, and we're going to do a taste test. All right, friends. We're going to take a bite. It's good. Okay, right off the bat, it's a little sweeter, I think, than the ones we buy in the store. It's a very sweet bread. It's delicious. It is absolutely delicious. Would I buy this? Well, if I found it on sale, if I found it for like 99 cents a box or something like that, I would definitely buy this. I know we can make this from scratch at home for about $1 a loaf. So that makes it a little bit more difficult for me to justify the convenience in paying $3 a box. But am I grateful I was gifted this and that I've tried it because it is delicious. And guess what? It has directions for a bread maker as well. So you can throw it in a bread maker. You saw how easy it came together. I mean, literally just barely stir the thing. I think this is really good for someone who A, doesn't have any time, and B, who doesn't have any strength in their hands to, knead dough the way it really needs kneading. I'm glad I tried this. Let me know what you think, guys. Have you tried this Krusteaz brand? I've tried some of their brownies and cakes and things like that, and those were all delicious. Like their lemon bars are really, really good, but never the bread. I'm really, really pleasantly surprised. All right, friends, keep flouring it up and do not stop, okay? Let us know what you're trying. Let us know what mixes you like, because I'm kind of stopped buying mixes a long time ago, with the exception of cake mixes. There are still some cake mixes. When I find them for $1 a box, I always pick them up because they're way too convenient. And you know, a lot of bakers even use cake mixes these days. But we do know how to make them from scratch, don't we? We've made chocolate cake, we've made yellow cake. We know how to make our cakes from scratch, but sometimes convenience really, really helps. I hope you'll try this bread if you find a good deal on it, because I don't think you can really screw it up. Barely any mixing, you plop it down on the pan, right? Let it rise and cook it. It's delicious, and I know your family will not be disappointed with this bread, okay? And you can do it in a bread maker. Susan's rambling. Susan, did you hear that? Susan just bought a bread maker for $3, brand new, from the thrift store, okay? That's how I got my bread maker. I think I paid $12 or $13 for ours, but still, you can't beat it. If you're not able to knead dough or have fear of baking bread, get a bread maker from the thrift store. I'm sure you'll find one in your town. All right, everybody, we are going to be talking to you really, really soon. God bless you.